Hey. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you argued with someone who was never going to agree with you? When was the last time you explained yourself to someone who had already made up their mind? When was the last time you chased after someone who was already walking away? You felt it, didn't you? That draining, sinking feeling in your chest. The one that whispers, "Why am I even trying?" Here's the truth that nobody tells you. Every time you react, every time you explain, every time you chase, you're not solving anything. You're giving away your power. You're handing someone else the keys to your peace. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He saw that the most powerful people in history weren't the loudest or the most aggressive. They were the ones who knew when to stay silent, when to step back, and when to simply detach. This isn't about becoming cold or cruel. It's about becoming strategic. It's about learning the paradox that the less you chase, the more you attract. The less you explain, the more you're respected. The less you react, the more you control. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you 7 paradoxes that will transform how you deal with conflict, criticism, and chaos. You'll learn why your silence is more powerful than any argument, why your absence creates more impact than your presence, and how to become completely untouchable, not by fighting, but by choosing not to engage. Let's begin. Paradox 1. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, and you've been giving it away for free. Think about the last time someone insulted you online. Or made a snide comment at work. Or questioned your choices. What did you do? If you're like most people, you probably felt a surge of anger. You started crafting a response in your head. Maybe you fired back. Maybe you spent the next hour thinking about what you should have said. Now ask yourself, did that person deserve that much of your mental energy? Did they pay rent in your brain? Did they add value to your life? Probably not. Here's the paradox. The more attention you give to unworthy people, the less power you have. Because attention is not infinite. It's a resource. Every time you spend it on drama, on haters, on people who don't matter, you're stealing from yourself. Machiavelli observed that the leaders who failed were often the ones who responded to every criticism, every rumor, every attack. They exhausted themselves fighting battles that didn't matter. The ones who succeeded, they were selective. They understood that not every fight is worth having. Not every person deserves a response. So here's your first shift. Start treating your attention like gold. Before you react, ask yourself, does this person or situation deserve my energy? If the answer is no, do nothing. Not because you're weak. Because you're strategic. Let me give you a concrete example. Someone sends you a disrespectful message. Your instinct is to defend yourself. But what does that accomplish? You've just given them exactly what they wanted, your reaction. Now imagine you don't respond at all. You read it, feel nothing, and move on. What happens to them? They sit there wondering why you didn't react. They check their phone. They might even send another message. And you're already living your life, completely unbothered. That's the power of guarded attention. You become a fortress. And you only open the gate for people who've earned it. Drop this in your mind, not everyone gets access. Not everyone deserves a response. Your silence is not weakness. It's a filter. Paradox 2. Silence is not empty, it's the loudest statement you can make. Most people are terrified of silence. They think it makes them look weak. They think if they don't defend themselves, they've lost. They believe that silence means surrender. But here's the truth that flips everything. Silence is the most aggressive move you can make. Think about it. When someone attacks you with words and you respond with more words, you've entered their game. You're playing by their rules. You've given them exactly what they wanted, a reaction. But when you respond with silence, the game stops. The power shifts. And suddenly they're the ones left standing there, talking to a wall, getting absolutely nothing from you. Machiavelli watched countless men destroy themselves by talking too much, explaining too much, reacting too much. And he saw that the ones who rose to power were the ones who knew when to speak and when to stay silent. Silence communicates something that words never can. Complete indifference. It says, "You're not worth my words. You're not worth my energy. You don't even register on my radar." And that destroys people more than any insult ever could. Let me break down why silence is so powerful. When you respond to someone, you're validating them. You're confirming that what they said mattered enough for you to craft a response. You're showing them that they got under your skin. But when you say nothing, you rob them of that validation. They're left in a vacuum of uncertainty. Did you see their message? Did it bother you? Do you even care? They'll never know. And that not knowing will eat at them more than any comeback you could have given. I've seen people spend days, sometimes weeks, obsessing over why someone didn't respond to them. They replay the conversation in their head. They wonder what they did wrong. They create entire scenarios trying to figure out what happened. All because of silence. That's psychological leverage without firing a single shot. Here's another benefit. The more you talk, the more ammunition you give your enemies. Every word you say is information. Every explanation you give is a weakness they can exploit. But silence gives them nothing. They can't twist your words because you didn't say any. They can't use your emotions against you because you didn't show any. So here's your challenge. The next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, to explain yourself, to have the last word, pause. Ask yourself, will speaking improve this situation? Or will it just drag me into a pointless battle? If the answer is no, stay silent. Let your quiet be the loudest thing in the room. Paradox 3, the more you chase, the less you attract. This is one of the most counterintuitive truths in human psychology. When you chase someone, whether it's for their attention, their approval, their love, or their respect, you signal that you need them more than they need you. And nothing repels people faster than desperation. Think about it. Have you ever been pursued by someone who was constantly texting, constantly asking, constantly trying to get your attention? How did it feel? Suffocating, right? You probably started pulling away. Now think about someone who was calm, confident, and never chased. They were there when you reached out, but they didn't bombard you. They had their own life. How did that feel? Intriguing. You wanted to know more. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He observed that leaders who clung too tightly to power lost it. Those who were willing to step back, to create distance, to make themselves scarce, those were the ones who were invited back. The paradox is this: your absence creates more value than your presence. When you're always available, you become like tap water, essential but invisible. When you're selective, you become like fine wine, rare and desired. So how do you apply this? Stop chasing. Stop begging for attention. Stop over-explaining yourself to people who don't care. If someone pulls away, let them. Don't chase. Don't plead. Just observe. If they come back, they might be worth keeping. If they don't, they were never yours to keep. This doesn't mean you become cold or play games. It means you respect yourself enough to not beg for what should be freely given. Your energy is precious. Don't spend it on people who don't reciprocate. Withdraw your attention. Let your absence do the talking. Paradox 4, when you ignore the unworthy, you break their mind without lifting a finger. Here's a fascinating piece of psychology. When someone is ignored, especially when they expect a reaction, their brain goes into overdrive. They start searching for reasons. They create explanations. They build entire narratives to make sense of your silence. And while they're burning mental energy on you, you're not thinking about them at all. That's the devastating power of strategic ignoring. It's psychological warfare without you having to participate. They're fighting a battle inside their own head, and you're not even on the battlefield. Human beings are wired for closure. We need answers. We need to understand cause and effect. When someone treats us a certain way, our brain immediately starts searching for the reason why. It's automatic. So when you ignore someone, when you give them absolutely nothing to work with, their brain short circuits. There's no closure. No explanation. Just silence. And that silence becomes an open wound in their mind that never fully heals. Machiavelli saw this play out constantly in politics. Leaders who responded to every critic ended up trapped in endless cycles of defense. But leaders who simply ignored their enemies, those enemies eventually destroyed themselves through their own obsession and frustration. Here's the key. You don't need revenge. You don't need the last word. You don't need to prove anything. Your indifference is the ultimate destruction. Your silence is the final blow. Your absence is their punishment. Let them obsess. Let them wonder. Let them break themselves trying to understand you. Meanwhile, you keep moving forward like they never existed. So the next time someone tries to bait you into a pointless argument, remember, the most powerful response is often no response at all. Your silence is not a weakness. It's a strategy. And it works every time. Paradox 5. Not everyone deserves a place in your reality. Learn to erase quietly. We need to get specific about who you should ignore. Not everyone is the same. And each type of person requires a different level of detachment. First, there are your critics. The people who have nothing to offer except negativity. They don't create anything. They don't build anything. They just sit on the sidelines tearing down everyone who's actually in the arena. Here's the thing about critics. They need you more than you need them. Their entire existence depends on having someone to criticize. Without you, they're nobody. So when you react to them, when you defend yourself, when you try to prove them wrong, you're feeding them. You're giving them the attention that keeps them alive. Cut them off. Not with anger. Not with explanations. Just complete indifference. Let them scream into the void. Let them write their paragraphs. While they're busy being critics, you're busy being successful. And success doesn't argue with criticism. It makes criticism irrelevant. Second, there are the energy parasites. These are the people disguised as friends. They're not obvious enemies. They're not loud critics. They're the ones who slowly drain you without you even noticing. They always have a crisis. They always need advice. They always have a problem that only you can solve. And you help because you're a good person. But here's what you need to realize. They never get better. The problems never end. Because they're not actually looking for solutions. They're looking for attention. These people are vampires. They suck your energy, your time, your mental space. And they give nothing back. The worst part? They make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. But protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's survival. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help others if you're drained. So here's what you do with both categories. You erase them. Not dramatically. Not publicly. Quietly. Completely. Permanently. Stop responding to their messages. Stop showing up to their drama. Stop giving them any piece of your attention, your energy, your life. Treat them like they're invisible, because to you, they should be. Your time is limited. Your energy is precious. Your attention is valuable. And none of it should go to people who don't add to your life. Erase the unworthy. Make space for the worthy. And watch how quickly your life transforms. Paradox 6. Build the armor of strategic indifference, care deeply, but only about the right things. The reason people can manipulate you, control you, and drain you isn't because they're powerful. It's because you haven't built the armor. And that armor is called strategic indifference. Let me be clear about what indifference actually means. It's not about being emotionless. It's not about not caring about anything. It's about having complete control over what gets to affect you and what doesn't. It's about being so secure in yourself that external chaos can't penetrate your inner peace. Most people are emotional hostages. Someone insults them, their whole day is ruined. Someone disrespects them, they're angry for a week. Someone questions their decisions, they're filled with doubt. Their emotions are completely at the mercy of other people's opinions. That's not power. That's slavery. Machiavelli watched countless powerful men fall, not because they were weak physically, but because they were weak emotionally. Their anger made them predictable. Their pride made them manipulatable. Their need to be right made them controllable. The ones who survived. They were the ones who built emotional armor so thick that nothing could touch them. They cared about their goals, their vision, their purpose. But they didn't care about the noise. They didn't care about the opinions. They didn't care about the disrespect. They were untouchable. Not because nothing hit them, but because nothing stuck. How do you build this armor? You start by identifying your emotional triggers. What makes you angry? What makes you defensive? What makes you need to explain yourself? Those are your weak points. Those are the cracks in your armor. Maybe your trigger is being called lazy. Every time someone hints at you not working hard enough, you go into defense mode. You just gave them power over you. Maybe your trigger is being misunderstood. You spend hours trying to make people understand your intentions. You just gave them control over your time and energy. Now, here's what you do. You eliminate those triggers not by avoiding situations that trigger you, but by becoming so indifferent to those situations that they stop being triggers at all. Someone calls you lazy. You know your work ethic. Their opinion is irrelevant. No response needed. Someone misunderstands you. People will always create their own narratives. Let them. Someone disrespects you. Their disrespect says everything about them and nothing about you. Move on. This is the armor. This is what makes you untouchable. When nothing external can control your internal state, you become impossible to manipulate. Impossible to break. Impossible to control. People will try. They'll test you. They'll push your old buttons expecting the old reactions. And when they get nothing, when they see that their tactics don't work anymore, they'll either respect you or leave you alone. Either way, you win. Strategic indifference doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you choose what you feel and when you feel it. It means your emotions serve you instead of ruling you. It means you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Build that armor. Strengthen it every day. And watch how powerless the world becomes over you. Paradox 7. The most powerful move is often no move at all, calculated inaction. Most people think power is about what you do. How hard you work. How much you fight. How often you prove yourself. They think you have to be constantly moving, constantly achieving, constantly showing the world your worth. But Machiavelli understood something that separates the truly powerful from the merely busy. Sometimes, the most powerful move is no move at all. Calculated inaction is the art of winning by doing absolutely nothing. It's about understanding that some battles are won not by fighting, but by refusing to show up. It's about recognizing that some people destroy themselves without any help from you. It's about mastering the patience to let situations resolve themselves while you conserve your energy for what actually matters. Let me give you an example. Someone is spreading rumors about you. The old you would panic. You'd defend yourself. You try to control the narrative. You'd exhaust yourself fighting a battle that doesn't even deserve your participation. The strategic you. You do nothing. You let the rumors run their course. You keep living your life with integrity. You keep producing results. You keep building your success. And what happens? The truth reveals itself without you having to say a word. The people who matter already know your character. The people spreading rumors eventually look foolish when their lies don't match reality. And you didn't waste a single ounce of energy. That's calculated inaction. That's ascending without effort. Here's another one. Someone's trying to compete with you. They're copying your style. They're trying to outdo you. They're making it obvious they want what you have. The old you would engage. You try to stay ahead. You change your approach to throw them off. The strategic you. You ignore them completely. You stay focused on your own path. You keep innovating, not because of them, but because that's who you are. And while they're busy watching you, studying you, trying to catch up, you're creating distance they'll never be able to close. Not because you were trying to beat them, but because you were never racing them in the first place. That's the paradox. You attract without chasing. You dominate without confrontation. You shift the entire social balance without saying a single word. People become obsessed with you because you're unpredictable. They can't figure you out because you don't react the way everyone else does. They can't manipulate you because you don't engage with their tactics. They can't compete with you because you're playing a completely different game. Your silence becomes legendary. Your absence becomes magnetic. Your indifference becomes the thing people talk about in rooms you're not even in. And here's the beautiful part. While everyone else is burning energy on drama, on reactions, on defending themselves, on proving their worth, you're conserving yours. You're investing it in things that actually matter. You're building real power while they're distracted by fake battles. This is how you ascend. Not by climbing over people. Not by fighting your way to the top. But by refusing to descend to levels that don't serve you. By protecting your energy so fiercely that only the worthy get access. By being so selective with your presence that your absence creates more impact than your words ever could. Calculated inaction isn't laziness. It's strategy. It's wisdom. It's power in its purest form. Now let me bring all 7 paradoxes together. You've learned that your attention is gold, guard it fiercely. You've learned that silence is not emptiness, it's the loudest statement you can make. You've learned that chasing repels, detachment attracts. You've learned that ignoring the unworthy breaks their mind without you lifting a finger. You've learned that not everyone deserves a place in your reality, erase quietly. You've learned to build the armor of strategic indifference, care deeply about the right things, and nothing else. And you've learned that sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all, calculated inaction wins without fighting. These aren't just concepts. They're laws. And if you apply them consistently, strategically, intentionally, your entire life will shift. People will treat you differently. They'll respect you more. They'll chase you instead of you chasing them. They'll value your presence because they can't take it for granted. They'll fear your silence because they know it means you're done with them. But here's the most important thing. This only works if you commit. This only works if you actually change your behavior starting right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. The next time someone tries to bait you into reacting, don't. The next time someone demands an explanation you don't owe them, don't give it. The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself to someone unworthy, resist. From this moment forward, you operate differently. You are strategic. You are intentional. You are untouchable. Not because you're cruel. Because you're clear. This is the paradox that Machiavelli discovered centuries ago. And now it's yours. If this video changed how you see power, conflict, and self-control, hit like. Subscribe to the Power Paradox for more strategies that don't ask you to lose your soul. And drop a comment, which of these 7 paradoxes hit you the hardest? Just one word or a short sentence. I read every single one. Until next time. Remember. The world will try to pull you into 1,000 pointless battles. But you know the secret now. Never chase. Never plead. Just detach. Stay strategic. Stay good. Stay paradoxical. See you in the next one.